Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining the session. So in this Archicad Now webinar series, we are focusing on real-time collaboration and coordination. So in the previous week, Melville was showing how to improve collaboration using BIM Cloud. And in this session, on the second session of this webinar series, we are going to focus on collaboration with BIMx. All right. So if I suppose most of you might be using BIMx already, but for people who have not been using BIMx, you can scan the QR code that is shown on the screen right now, then install BIMx. I'll pass here for a few seconds. All right. So the agenda for today's session is we are going to see how to access the data within BIMx. So whatever model that we do inside Archicad, we are able to publish it as a BIMx file, and then you can access it using mobile devices or your tablet devices or even your computers. So we'll see an overview of how to do that, and then we are going to see how to use the presentation feature inside BIMx to improve collaboration and also to present your design ideas to your clients or even to your project teammates. Okay, and also we are going to see how to use the messaging feature inside BIMx to perform design review. Okay, and we are also going to see how to perform collaboration and coordination with BIMx in this session. Okay, so for just an overview, for people who do not know what is BIMx is a mobile application which can also be used in computer devices for accessing data that you have created inside Archicad. Okay, so it can also be used as a coordination tool and as a visualization tool. And it has the real-time model. So whatever you publish or whatever you create inside Archicad, you can immediately publish and you can get the real-time update inside our BIMx. And we are going to see how to do that as well. And this hyper model, the BIMx hyper model that we call as the model inside BIMx, it's very interactive. So you can create model cut-throughs, and you can do measurement. You can also create markups when you do the messaging across Archicad or across BIMx. So you can send to people who have joined the project using the BIM Cloud credentials through Archicad or through BIMx. Okay, and then this BIMx is a very good tool to carry forward the model that you've created on your studio to the site, so that you can perform smart measure at site, and if there are any discrepancies or if anything that you want to convey the message to the author, the model author, you can just take a snapshot and then you can do the markup, and then you can send across the view along with the element selection to the modeler who is working on Archicad. Okay. So why BIMx? Let us see some of the advantages of BIMx. So BIMx has all the model content that you have created in Archicad. So any view or any 3D view or even a 2D view that you create inside Archicad will be can be published to BIMx, which can be accessed using any of your devices. And then the drawing within the model context, so you can embed or you can show the model, the 2D view in the 3D view and create a cutaway so that for people who don't understand the spatial relation between 2D and 3D will be very easily will be able to very easily understand the design using BIMx. And as I told, when you create the 3D cutaways, it is easy for people to understand the design who are non-professionals as well. And there are markup markers on 3D view on as well as on 2D view, using which you can open the relevant views from any of the views that you are inside BIMx. Okay, so we will see all this how to do inside BIMx later, and we can also see the model in virtual reality environment using Google Cardboard. So if you are using a mobile device, you can turn on the virtual reality mode, and then you can place your mobile inside the Google Cardboard, and then you'll be able to enjoy your design in virtual reality mode. You can do walkthroughs, you can do visual checks and so on. And then you can use BIMx as a device to carry out your integrated concurrent engineering discussions on construction stage. Okay, so BIMx is very useful to perform such uh, discussions. Okay. All right, so let me just show the BIMx before we go into the presentation. All right, so here is my BIMx screen. So here you can see all the BIMx model that I have loaded into this particular device. I'm actually using an iPad here. Okay, so as you can see here, if I click on any of the model, I'll be able to open the model, and you have all the views related to the model that you have published from Archicad. Okay, so let me just use this WAHAB Technical Hub model, which was created by Landerlock Architects. Thanks for the model. So here, if I tap on the 3D view, you can see I can tap on the 3D view and it opens me the 3D view. So you can see this particular model was just created by two people, Ian Lander and Catherine Locke. So you'll be able to see the detail that they have created for this model inside Archicad, and it is being published as a BIMx file. Okay. All right. So now you can see on 3D, right, there are some markers. Okay. Let me try to zoom in. You can see here is a marker. Okay. So if I click on this marker, it will just open the 2D view. Okay, so you can see the transition right from 3D to 2D view. So it is so smooth that for people who do not understand the spatial relation between 2D and 3D will be easily understanding the design ideas. Okay, so going back to the menu of the project, you can see the folder structure. So you can create this folder structure when you're publishing the Archicad model as a BIMx hyper model. So you can see when I open any of the 2D view, it also has markers there. So you can see here are the markers, the blue color one. So if I click that, you can see I have open option. So when I click open, it will open the particular view. Say for example, I click the section 1, right? So I'm able to see the section 1 here. Okay, and if I want to flip the model, and if I want to zoom into any particular detail, I can zoom in as well. And you can see here on the top, I have the smart measure tool. So using that, you can see there is a handle using which I'll be able to measure any 2 points. So this can be done, the measurement can be done within 2D and 3D environment as well. Okay. All right, so going back to the menu here, let me go back to the 3D view. So if you see, the model is embedded, the 2D model is embedded on the 3D background here. Let me just hide it. If you select it and hide it, you'll be able to see it. So if you double click any of the view, it will just show you the, it will just zoom into that particular element. So if you want to see the details about any particular element, you can just select it. And then if you go here under the context menu, you can select the info. Here you can see this is a wall, and then I'm able to select or I'm able to view the details of the wall that is created inside Archicad. So you can include any information or any data that you want to check inside the BIMx. And also you can see here the model that they have done is so detailed. Okay, so here you can see there is a walkthrough option. So you can use this walkthrough option to perform walkthroughs. So here, if I just use this option, you can see I can just walk through the model and I can perform the visual checks. Okay. All right, so let me go back to the presentation. So here in BIMx, we have the presentation feature using which we can create favorite views and then save them, and then we can just present them whenever we want it. Okay, so how to do that? You can see there is the presentation mode on top, and under the favorites, you'll be able to save all these views, and then we can do the presentation. So let me go back to my iPad and show you how to do that. So here on the top, I have the presentation mode. So I have few views that I have already saved. So if you can see, I can click the plus sign if I want to add the current view. Say for example, let me just zoom out a bit, and then if I want to add this particular view, right? If I want to add this particular view, I can just click the plus sign here, and then I can key in the view name. So maybe I just give key in 01, right, for now, and then click save. So you can see the 01 is saved on the bottom. Okay, so I have few views which I have already created. So if I click one of these, so it will just take me to that particular view. Okay, that is the one way of opening that particular view in 3D, in any of the 3D view or in 2D view as well. But if you want to do the presentation, you can see here there is the presentation option. So if I click that, so you can see here there is the BIMx is now in the presentation mode. Now if I click the arrow here, it will go to the next view that I have saved inside my favorites. Okay, and also you can see the transition between the first view and the second view. It is so smooth, so it is easy for people to understand the design that you have done inside Archicad. So let me click the next one, the next arrow. So here it is moving to a 2D view, which is embedded on a 3D view. So you can see here the floor plan is embedded here on a 3D view, and then there is a cutaway. So now when this cutaway, I can just hide the 2D view and then just zoom into this particular 3D view. And then now if I want to explain anything during my presentation, right, I can simply explain it in this view, and then I can go back to the presentation mode by clicking this next icon. So it will move simply to the next view. Okay, but before that, you can see I can select the cutaway, and then if I want to move the cutaway, I can simply move it in the same direction. Okay, all right, so let me just off this. So now let me move to the next view by clicking this arrow here. All right, so here is another sectional view which has been embedded on the 3D view. Okay, so now there is option to flip the cutaway as well. So here if I select the cutaway, so there is a purple line, right? So there's a purple line here. I can just select it and then go to the context menu. I can just flip. So when I flip, right, the cutaway will be flipped also. Okay, all right, so let me move to the next view. So you can also save 2D views, and then you can zoom into any particular detail and then save that particular view as well. Okay, all right, so this is the last view that I saved just now under the name 01. Okay, so how to embed the model in 3D view, I'll just show it. So if you go to any of these 3D views or 2D view here, right, so just go to one of the 2D views. Say for example, I'm going to floor plan 03, right? And then if you just go here, there is a home icon, which is a 3D icon. So if you select that, so it will embed that particular view in the exact position from which this view was created inside Archicad, and then it will create a cutaway at that location. Okay, so this is how you can create a embedded 2D view inside a 3D view and have a cutaway inside BIMx. And then you can simply go to the presentation on the top here, and then you can just add this as a favorite so that you can access it anytime later. Okay, so now if you go to edit here, if I go to edit here, so you can see I can see all the favorite views that I've created and saved it inside this particular model. I can turn on and turn off any particular view when I do the presentation. Say for example, if you want to show any sensitive data to a particular audience type, just before you turn on the presentation mode, you can just go here and then hide the view. Simply, it's very similar to hiding the slide on the presentation PPT. Okay, and if you want to rearrange the view, you can see there is a hamburger icon at the end, using which you can hold and then rearrange the view. Okay, and you can use this minus icon here to delete the view, or if you want to rename any particular view, right, so you can simply click here and then you can just rename the view there. You can type any name there. Okay. All right. So let me just click done here. So this is how presentation can be used either within the team members or with your clients to present your design ideas by just using the mobile devices. Either it can be a mobile phone or even tablets. So you need not carry your laptop around everywhere. So even if you're going to site, right, you can just carry your BIMx mobile device and then just use BIMx to do your presentation. All right, so let me go back to the presentation. So the next feature is the messaging with BIMx, using which we are going to see how to perform the design review. So for using the messaging feature, right, you need to host your project on BIM Cloud. You need to host your project on BIM Cloud or BIM Cloud as a service, and then you need to publish the BIMx model, and then you can join the project within BIMx using your BIM Cloud license. Okay, so when you join the project, you'll be able to send message across along with the hyperlinks and along with the uh, message and markup. Okay, so this particular model is not a BIMx model. So let me go back to the iPad, and then I'll show another model, which is a BIMx model, the BIM Cloud model. So here you can see the GSSG of this. I have joined as Melville in this device, an iPad. Okay, so if I just click that, it opens me the views along with the details of it. So if I go to any of the 3D view, you can see here on top I have this message icon. Okay, so if I click on this message icon, I'll be able to create new messages. So if you click this icon, you'll be able to create a new message. So right now, if I click the plus sign here, I'll be able to see the people who have joined the project. So you can see Rima has joined the project, and also I have joined the project using my Archicad. So I'm actually working in Archicad. I'm not using BIMx. So this particular device is logged in as Melville. Okay, so if in case I want to send a message to people who are working in Archicad, you can select the people, and then you can see here if in case I want to send a message from here, right? Say, for example, if you want to review this particular door, and then maybe I just select this, okay, and then I go here. So when I select, I have this option selected one here, and I can choose send in message. Okay, so I can directly send in message here. So now you can see the message has been opened. Now I can choose my name from here, going back to the compass, and you can see I can type in anything that I want to send. Okay, so I am choosing review fire rating for this door, and then click send. Okay, so the message is being sent. So let me go back to Archicad. You can see here I have received the message inside Archicad that was sent by Melville from the iPad. Okay, so when I click it, so you can see the message, and along with that you can also see the view. And if I click apply view, it will apply the view, and then it's opening on 3D. And if I click show elements, it will select the element. Okay, so let me just zoom in, so you can see that the door has been selected. So this is how you can send messages from BIMx to your model author who is working on Archicad. But if in case, right, so let me just go back to the iPad. So if you want to do any hyperlink or anything, right, you can see here I'm just creating a new message. Let me just send it to Rima for this time. And then if I want to click the plus sign here, so you can see I can click the plus sign. So I can either add this particular view, or I can add an image, or I can take an image, click an image, or I can even add an image from my gallery. So I can do that. Say for example, if I'm adding the same particular view also, right? If I'm doing that, I have few options on the bottom. So here I have the option to markup, okay, or I can add few more attachments as well. Okay, so if in case I want to add the markup, so you can see here the markup screen is opening for me, and then I can choose the pen color from the bottom here. You can see I'm choosing the pen color, And then if in case I want to do anything markup or anything, I can just do it, and then I can click save. Okay, so I can just simply click send now. So now Rima is accessing the project from a BIMx, which is on a mobile device. So she will receive this message on her mobile device as well. Okay. All right. So let me go back to Archicad. Okay. So just in case, right, if I want to send a message from Archicad, you can do that as well. So you can see I have this plus sign here under the teamwork palette. So we saw how to use the teamwork palette last week, right? So here I'm using the same feature, and then I can choose any user here from here, and then I can type my message, and then if I want to capture the view, and if I want to add any selection or anything, I can add them, and then I can simply click send. Okay, so right now let me just simply send. Okay, so let me go back to the iPad. So you can see here the message is received. Okay, so when I open, you can see the view also is being transferred, and then I can just enlarge the image. Okay, or I can just open the view. So when I click open the view, it will go to that particular place. Okay, so this is how you can perform coordination and collaboration for people who is working BIMx. So you need not have Archicad license for accessing your BIM data, which is inside the BIMx. You only need the BIM cloud license. Okay. All right. So I have also received a message from Rima here. So you can see. Yeah. Okay. All right. So going back to Archicad, I'll show you how to publish a BIMx model from the project that you are working on BIM Cloud, right? Okay. So let me just close this message. So just in case, right, if I'm going to publish the model, so here I'm going to do some change here. So I'm just moving the column here to 1 meter to the north. Okay. And then I go to the layouts, right click, and then update. Okay, so now I've updated. So now I need to publish it. So go to the publisher sets on the navigator, and then I have this BIMx. Okay, so I've already created this publisher set. So now before I publish, I need to show the publishing properties. Okay, so this publishing properties, you can see here, I'm using the publishing method. I'm uploading the BIMx hyper model. So where I'm uploading it to the BIMx model transfer site. Okay, so you can see here, this is the BIMx model transfer site. So you need to log in as a user. There are some public models available as well, which you can access it for free, and there are some models which are private. So companies can choose to publish their model privately as well. So you can see here I'm choosing to publish this particular model privately, and then I'm choosing the folder into which I want to publish, and I've already keyed in my credentials to publish my model. So you can choose the name, and then here on the info set you can choose what you want to publish. Say for example, if you want to choose any schedule inside a model, you can publish that as well. But for now I'm just publishing with the classification and properties, so all the metadata that is attached to the element will be published along with the BIMx model. Okay, so now let me just click OK. So if you see this particular publishing, right, like I have already published and I have already accessed the model in BIMx. Now I'm going to send a update for this model. Okay, so let me just click OK here and then click publish. So you can see here the publishing starts, and also it is uploaded to the BIMx transfer site. So it will take a few seconds to a few minutes depending on the size of the model. All right, so while it is publishing, I will show how to access the model for the first time from the BIMx transfer site. Okay, so let me go back to the iPad. So you can see here we have this plus icon there. So when I click the plus sign, you have two options. So this is to browse the hypermodel directly from the device storage, or you can bring it from the model transfer site. So when you click the model transfer site, it will open the browser, and then it will open the BIMx model transfer site. And then from here, as I told earlier, there are some public models available which you can just simply download and then view it in BIMx. Or if you want to access your model, right, you need to log in using the sign in option here. So I have already logged in on another tab here. So let me just go to that particular tab. So here's my tab. So I am using this Graphisoft Singapore account profile. And then if I go inside the exact folder into which I have published the model, you can see the model has been published. Okay. So you can just open it, just click on it. And then if you click the download model option there, so it will ask whether to open the BIMx file or the BIMx model inside the BIMx app. So you can just simply click open. Let me just click cancel because I've already opened the model inside my BIMx. So going back to the BIMx, so you can see here, if I just refresh it, let me check if the model is already published. Yeah, it is already published. So yeah, so now that it is already published, you can see here, there is a refresh icon here. Okay. So you will be able to click the refresh icon. You can see there is an update option. So if I update the model, so it will download my model, the new updated model. So this is how, if there are any changes inside the Archicad model, you can just publish them, and then all the people who have joined the BIMx file will get a notification to update the model. Okay, so let me just go in and go to the 3D view, and then you can see that the column has been moved a little bit, which is 1 meter towards the north. Okay. So this is how the messaging feature and also the BIMx hypermodel transfer site can be used to do the coordination. Okay. All right. So let me go back to the presentation. Let me close this. All right. So let us see how to do the coordination and collaboration with BIMx, focusing on the construction stage, or you can also use the same method to do the collaboration and coordination during the design stage as well. So this particular project, which was done by Landerlock Architects and Venturer Timberwork, so they have used this BIMx, and then they have created the QR code for each element using the Python API from Archicad. And then when you scan the QR code right in your mobile device, it will automatically open the BIMx, and it will open the model, and it will highlight the particular element, and it will show you. So this was used at the construction site. Say for example, when these elements are arriving the construction site from the factory, right? So the signalman or the people who do the installation can simply scan the QR code which is fixed to the element. It will show them where exactly the element need to be placed. So it saves a lot of time when you do the installation at your construction site. Okay. So here are the QR codes that are generated from the model using the Python API. So you might think the Python API might be very difficult to create such QR codes. So right now I'll try to show you a QR code, the Python script using which I'm going to create the QR code for our model. So just now I showed the GSSG model, right? So this is the script. You can see only 16 lines. And if you see these lines, these 9 lines are just the introduction, and only with these 5 lines I have created the QR code. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm trying to create all the column QR code for all the column, and then I'm creating a hyperlink here. So this is the hyperlink. Basically I'm opening the BIMx application, I'm showing elements in 3D context, and then I'm opening the hypermodel GSSG office, and then I'm attaching the element GUID. Okay, so this Python code will work in Archicad. So let me just close this. Let me go back to 3D view. So this works along with Archicad on your laptop or in your computers. And then you can see right now, I only have this Python code inside this Python folder, right? So when I run the script, I will have all the QR codes here. Okay, so let me just run the script here. All right, the run script is run. So now you can see all the QR codes. So in my model, I have only 4 columns. So you can check it. So you can see these are only 4 columns available on my model. So I got the 4 QR codes. Okay, so let me just open one of these QR codes. Okay, so this QR code, I'm going to scan it using my laptop, or sorry, using my iPad. Okay, so let me just open my iPad screen as well. So on the right side, you can see my iPad screen. So here is my QR code. So let me just open the camera on my iPad. Okay, so I'm going to scan the QR code. So you can see it asks me if I can open the BIMx model. So when you click that, you can see the column is selected and it opens the model. Okay, so it is as simple as that. So this particular workflow is very useful, not just during the construction stage, but also during your design review as well. Okay. All right, so just now we saw how to use the Python API to generate this QR code, which will create an hyperlink to create the model, right? So let me just show you what if you're not using BIM Cloud. So you're not using BIM Cloud, so there is no messaging feature in that. Okay, so if you're not using BIM Cloud, you will not have the messaging feature. So in that case, how to perform the collaboration? So you can manually create the hyperlink from BIMx itself, and then you can share the hyperlink as a WhatsApp message or even as an email. So let us see how to do that. So let me just unselect or deselect everything first. Maybe this particular model I will use again to create the hyperlink. So you can select this column in any object you can select from the model, but now I'm just using this column. So if I go to this info, sorry, if I go to select, if you go here onto the selected option, you will see there is a copy hyperlink file. So if you click on this option, it will copy the hyperlink for this particular element. So if you want to send it across as an email or as a WhatsApp message, you can send. But for now, let me just put it on my notes and then I will show you guys how it works. So you can see I'm going to click this paste option here. So it just creates a hyperlink for me. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my BIMx model. So I've already closed my BIMx model. So now I'm going to click this hyperlink. So it will open the BIMx model for me. It will open the 3D view that I have selected, and then it will select the element that I have created the hyperlink with. Okay, so this is how you can use hyperlinks to collaborate or coordinate with people offline. Okay, using WhatsApp or even using email. Okay, so this is one way. So as you can see here, I can select multiple elements as well, and I can select multiple hyperlinks or hyperlinks for multiple elements as one go. So you can see here, I'll select 2 elements, and then I can just copy the hyperlink for these 2 columns. So this is one column, and there's another column there. So I can create the hyperlink for both, and then I can send it across also. Okay. All right, so let me go back to the presentation. So the next feature to perform the collaboration and coordination is the BIMx API. To use the BIMx API, you need the Pro license. So you need to go to the Play Store or App Store to subscribe for the Pro license. And then there are few functionalities, like you can create the option here inside the element menu, element context menu, or you can add information to any of the element. So these are the 2 features that you can perform using the BIMx API, but there are a lot of use cases for these features. So here are some of them. So you can perform issue management, you can do progress monitoring, you can do commissioning, field data collection, home automation, you can do building security services, you can do facility management, and so on. So if you scan the QR code, you will get a YouTube video which shows all these functionalities, which is implemented on a project. So this particular BIMx file or the BIMx model will be there as a twin, the digital twin, which can be used to do all these functionalities. Okay, so let me just show one of the features that we have developed. So a few of you might have seen this in previous presentation, but for people who do not know, maybe I'll just show it one more time. So I'm here on my GSSG office model. So you can see here, if I click this ellipsis icon here, you can see there is a functionality called check hard disking availability. So when I click that, I can check the model. So let me just turn around. So you can see here, if I want to do a reservation, I can select the time from here and then I can do a check availability. So you can see here, I cannot do any reservation beyond 6 p.m. So let me just close and then change the time. So let me change it to 6 p.m. Okay, I'm doing a reservation from 5:40 just now to 6 p.m. And then if I click check availability, so it opens the model and select all the seats and then it shows in cyan color. So if it is in cyan color, it means that it is not reserved. So if you want to reserve any of these seats, just go to the context menu of that particular seat. You can see we have this reserve seat option. So when I click reserve seat, it opens a web page. So you can see this is actually a web page. So I can click reserve seat. So it asks me to log in actually. Let me just reload it. So once I log in, I can do the reservation now. And then once the reservation is done, that particular seat will be red in color. So for people who do the reservation or who try to do the reservation now will have this seat red in color. Okay, and now you can also check the statuses here under the selected option. So you can see the red ones are reserved, the other ones are free. Okay, so this is just one application. So if in case you want to have a dashboard attached to the BIMx model, you can do that as well. So we can get information from the elements from the BIMx model and it can be published on a dashboard. So there are a lot of applications using the BIMx API which we can use to do coordination and collaboration as well. Okay. So just in case if I do check hard disking availability one more time, right, I will have that particular seat reserved already. Okay. So when I check now, you can see that particular seat is already reserved. Okay, so I won't be able to select and reserve that. So I need to choose some other seat and then do the reservation. Okay, so this is how BIMx API can be used to do the collaboration and coordination as well. All right, so let me just go back to the presentation. All right, so with this, we have come to the end of the presentation today. And to just let you guys know about the parametric object factory challenge that is going on for the Singapore users. So you can submit any parametric object that you have created using Paramo or library path maker or the GDL. So you can just post it on the QR. You just scan the QR code here. You'll be able to post it on the web page, and then you will receive an iPad if you're winning it. Okay, so this is conducted separately for Singapore users. So there are more chances for people to, win an iPad Pro. So the deadline for this is 22nd January. All right, so there is a BIM author program. So that is being conducted on our Learn portal. So if you want to learn through our Learn portal, you can apply for this and then you will get 20% discount if you are a forward or SSA user. Okay, so you can use the QR code or the coupon and then you can register for this training and you will receive a Graphisoft certified BIM author certificate. Okay. All right, do follow us on our social media to get more information about the product and then the updates. And also scan the QR code here to follow us on the YouTube channel. So you will receive all the recordings of this webinar series on the YouTube channel as well. So you can later go and watch them as well when you are implementing all these workflows in your project. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free to post them on the chat. We are happy to answer those.